What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be going through a complete rank guide for you guys, going through every single game mode, every single map, with the meta shifting quite a fair bit. I was probably going to release this a couple of months ago, but with balance changes dropping, hypercharges dropping as well, there's been a few changes. These aren't going to be like 100% perfect because we haven't really got the absolute perfect pro competitive data for it, but after playing a lot of ranked, after looking at a few pro tournaments as well, a lot of these are just going to be getting you automatic wins literally if you just pick some of the best brawlers. So let's just go through it. First and foremost, we're going to be going through bounty. There's going to be a timestamp in the description for every single game mode and every single map. And let's start off with bounty. As I said, dry season here, your best picks on your screen. So the common theme here, I think in pretty much every single game mode, kit is the best brawler in the game and will be banned out if the opponents have first pick. If you have first picks, don't ban kit. You want to go kit yourself because you can just pair it with everything. Again, we'll go on to that in the later stage, but you can play kit as an assassin or a support brawler because of the hypercharge. So Jean and Grey are going to be your best picks in bounty as well. It's because you can never really go wrong with either of them. You're not going to be able to really counter out really any of them. Like a good Grey can easily just get a couple of good hooks and just cycle super easily. Same goes with Jean. There's only really like Mr. P that can counter a Jean. Then you've got like a really good Ali, can do some dangerous work on a dry season because of a jump. You can jump over the wall and apply some pressure. Same goes with Kaze. It's all about pressure with these types of brawlers, just pushing up close to the wall and putting them into an uncomfortable position in their spawn, and that's where your ranged brawlers will help you, and you should be able to get a lot of kills that way. So of course Gus is going to be really good as well. I wouldn't really say your convenient snipers are completely the best here, maybe like one of them. So if you want to go with like an Angelo, if you want to go with Mandy, Piper, etc., but you don't want to go a couple of them because they can get pressured back into spawn easily by the throwers, by the assassins, by anything with a lot of HP. There's some cheesy strategies as well going on with like Buster and him just camping once you get blue star. Again, an effective strategy in bounty over the past couple of months is just getting a brawler that can just get the blue star, so like a Cole, Mortis, Kaze, and just sit behind the wall. You know, you can camp with like a Doug or like a Hank or something. It's like impossible for the opponents to push into you. So yeah, a lot of good options in dry season. Next up with bounty, we have Hideout here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So the same old best brawlers here, with the likes of Gus just proving to be too strong. Jean and Grey again can never really counter them, even on a bit of a more open map in Hideout, because people make the same mistake with Hideout. It looks really open, right? It is, but you can get forced into your spawn really easily by a lot of like aggressive brawlers in this meta, and that's why you're seeing like I'd say the brawlers like Piper, Nanny not actually being too good in bounty right now, because you've got the Kazes, you've got the Gusses, you've got Kit, you've got Grey, you've got Jae Young, you've got Bonnie, you've got Angelo even that can be pretty aggressive, Sniper, you've got likes of Hank, Carl. There's so many aggressive top bounty options where your typical snipers in ranked, you might be able to get away with it at the lower levels, but once you start getting towards masters, you're going to get counted out and you're going to get found out by those people that just play aggressive. And in terms of late picks, I wouldn't really say there's really that many that will come to mind. You know, we've got Lily that can be really annoying because there's a lot of snipers. Lily likes that, and you can just spam gadgets and get into the bushes here. You've got like Mortis and Kenji, take a little bit more skill, and Nanny of course countering those multiple snipers. But it's just same bounty meta here, but with a lot more aggression. Next up for bounty, we have Layer Cake here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So with Layer Cake, it always it leads to the aggressive play style, and again, don't make the same mistake where you normally think bounty, oh, I can just go a sniper. Well, you might be able to get away with one sniper, but trust me, look at the map. It's got so many walls. You're going to get pressured all the way back into spawn so easily. So just, if you're going to go one, just go one. Don't make sure not to have multiple in your composition, because again, you're going to get countered by the Shades, by the Kazes, by the throwers. Throwers are very good on this map, so just go one of them. I mean, maybe if you got like RT, at least you got some defensive capabilities with his super. I will say RT is good in bounty, but you're never going to get the hypercharge really unless you're late picking it against multiple aggressive ideas. So just be wary of that. He's just good anyways. And again, Mr. P is going to be a really good sleeper pick. So there's a couple in general where I think they're overrated in other game modes and other places, but here on Layer Cake, Squeak and Mr. P are very good, because Mr. P can easily put his turret in a safe spot, And he kind of serves as, of course, he can throw over walls basically. So it's like this thrower hybrid that can farm hypercharge for free from those aggressive brawlers. And aggressive brawlers, speaking of them, Bonnie, Hank are going to be absolutely insane here. Doug again can be absolutely insane here. Ollie, there's just so much to choose from, but make sure to go aggressive because there aren't actually that many tank counters in the bounty meta. And finally, moving on to shooting star here, your best picks on your screen right here. So in the pro competitive meta, I don't think that many people will just tend to forget about Piper, which is weird enough. So Piper really is falling off the meta, probably the biggest fall off this meta. But you can see by your best picks, Gene and Gray still going to be a better option. Good thing about Gene, you can play him as a mid or a lane, but he's just going to be good into everything. You can chip everything down, and you've got the gadget vengeful spirits to chip them down. You've got Gray in the middle only. You don't really want to play him much as a lane. You want him in the middle because he can be good against throwers, just good against everything in that middle. Angelo, he can be good as a mid or a lane as well. He can just float around that mid water, and he's just really hard to kill on this map. Gus is Gus. Kaze, a really good Kaze player, can just make things happen on this map because her ninja dash is just too good at killing those snipers. Jae-Young again, you may not be like hard carrying and just getting a bunch of kills, but you're just going to be so hard to kill yourself. Like the opponents are never going to be able to kill you. Like you can just spam your super and you're going to get speed boosts, heals, and yeah, it's just really hard to kill Jae-Young. Mandy's still going to be really good in shooting star just because of her turnaround potential with her hypercharge. Tick's starting to come back to the bounty meta a little bit. Nanny's actually going to be much better than like a Piper because you're going to guarantee yourself to get some good pressure with your Nanny head. You've got Belle with the traps, although the traps don't get as much value anymore because of the glitch that's going on with the slow bug, where her traps don't actually work too well, but Belle's still a pretty decent brawler. Bonnie as well coming pretty good in the meta, but it's shooting star. When does the shooting star meta really ever change? It doesn't much. Okay, so now we're jumping into Dribble, starting off with center stage here. Your best picks on the screen right here. So we'll say I'm missing footage from a few maps, and center stage is one of them, but you can see your best picks. Kit still proves to be one of the best picks inside of the game, although like Kit first pick can lead to you getting countered by the likes of Artie, Charlie, and Cordelius. It's more like, well, if you don't pick Kit, well, the opponent's just going to go Kit and just completely run all over you. So yeah, you just got to go it and force their hand. Shade is insane right now in the meta, especially on this type of map as well. He's just easily going to be able to survive with the amount of walls and just cycle through his hypercharges. Draco is still insane with his hypercharge. Crow is the revelation in this meta currently, with so many of the top meta brawlers getting a nerf. Crow he's just insane in ranked. He's just so hard to kill, and with Crow you can easily scout the lanes here. You can make aggressive plays with his shield gadget and the amount of health he has to jump in. Hank, he literally still is insane right now. Jae-Young really, really good. So as I always say with center stage, you want a mixture of everything. Even if the opponents go a couple of tank, actually, but most of the time you want to go a tank, right? Just for pressure alone. Pressure alone will be able to help you gain map control, and it can help you score a lot easier. So I always recommend going at least one aggressive idea, like even like a hybrid aggressive idea, even like a playmaker. So even if it's like a Tara that can just create a goal opportunity, whether that's a Bull with his super, whether that's a Cole, you need something to make a play. Then you need that tank counter at least in there, and then you can probably just go with a hybrid or something like that along those lines. In terms of late picks, tanks are always going to be your best late pick here, just because there's so many good tanks in the meta and it's a super bushy map. The next Brawl map is Pinball Dreams here. Best picks on your screen right here. So Pinball Dreams, as I always say, it's a super rock paper scissors map because assassins are good, throwers are good, and if you want to go for squishy brawlers, well, throwers are good into that. You get what I mean. There's always this rock paper scissors going on in the meta, but specifically here. So Shade's going to be really insane here because he's just going to be able to gain a lot of advantage with his supers. You see it in pro play a lot with the EMEA monthly finals. He's still really that guy. Ali's really good on this map because you've just got that jump capabilities. You can just go left lane, jump over the wall, and you instantly have pressure on the map. And Ali's still a good brawler, but normally in 1v1 situations. Willow is the perfect draft brawler in a couple of situations right now. It's just really hard to take down a Willow because of the HP buff she got not too long ago, and she's just a thrower that assassins again just can't really push into because she always has super. Kaze insane right now. Hank as well. Cordelius with his damage buff is definitely making a return to the meta, but more so on maps with a lot of walls, and this is one of them, and he can easily use his jump to kill those throwers. So Cordelius is great, and also he's a great defender because if the opponents pop a hypercharge or pop a really good super, you can just put them in a shadow realm and it saves you for now. Lumi's good because you can play Lumi as a mid or a lane. Charlie, insane in the meta with a Spice gadget. Crow can be pretty good as well. You've got likes of Griff that can open up the map as well. In terms of late picks, your late picks are going to be your tanks and your throwers. So now moving on to Sneaky Fields, your best picks on your screen right here. So Sneaky Fields pretty much plays exactly the same as center stage, in the sense like, you know, obviously your tanks and stuff are going to be good because, especially on this map, you're literally forced to run all the way back because if they're in the bushes, you're scared they're going to pop out and kill you, right? So you've got to go back to that little grass section at the back. So that is why, again, making sure that you've not got like multiple control brawlers in your composition. It might feel good, and even on paper you think, oh, I counter that brawler, you know, like a Stu, for example, into a tank. Oh, that might be good, but it doesn't matter because that tank can just run into the bushes and gain map positioning. So just that's one thing to easily consider here. So for the same type of picks here, Crow's insane in this meta and is really good at scouting the bushes for this map. You've got Jae Young, you've got Tara. I've seen a lot of Tara right now in Gem Grab and Brawl meta because the only real true counter to her, I would say, for likes of it is Sandy, and Tara's just been a really good brawler into those tanks and into the likes of a Crow who became really strong. You know, same with like B, Gordelis. Tara's pets are just such a good counter to all of these brawlers in particular. So the same type of method here in draft. You want your mid brawler that's not too bad against aggro because it is Brawl at the end of the day. You want a tank counter in there and you want something aggressive in there. So that's kind of the ideal team composition. And finally for Brawl, we have triple dribble here. Best picks on your screen right here. So just like Pinball Dreams, you've got rock, paper, scissors going on, but it's probably even more in favor of throwers here because you've got that mid section. You're always going to be able to defend. So first and foremost, we've got Kit, Shade, and Willow. Those are going to be your best first picks because Willow is just insane on this map. Again, because you can create so many goal scoring opportunities with your super, and just there's not really any hard counters to Willow. I'd say probably the biggest counter is actually like Kaze, because Kaze can dash between her attacks pretty easily. Gordelis, again, insane, a lot of walls, he can apply a lot of pressure. Hank, a lot of walls. Shade, a lot of walls. Jae Young can just be good on the open lanes, he can create some really good synergy. Just a way better Max right now. That's why I've not really seen Max in the Brawl meta or in the meta whatsoever, because Jae Young's just the brawler that gives everyone infinite speed boost no matter what. So why would you go Max? Just completely power crept. Lumi, insane on this map. Her gadget's able to get so much control, so that's going to be able to get you easy goals. Charlie as well, just her range buff has allowed her to thrive even harder. You got likes of Stu, who's actually pretty good on this map and really underrated. Yeah, Larry and Laurie again, like Willow or Larry and Laurie, probably going to be your best options as a thrower because at least they can defend themselves against all of the aggression in the meta. You've got Mo again, super underrated because he can actually wall peek really easily on the map like triple dribble. You got Meeple as well, but again, it's the same rule in Brawl as I always say. You want something aggressive and you want a tank counter in there. So now we're going to be moving on to Gem Grab. So this is a featured game mode. This is what they're doing instead of these new game modes now, where they're adding like a couple of extra maps in a rotation. I think there's 6 Gem Grab maps, so like only 2 extra ones. I mean, it's better than a whole new game mode, I would say. As to Brawl Hockey, I liked Brawl Hockey, but all the other game modes have just been a big miss in my opinion. Anyway, starting off with Crystal Arcade. So this already was a new map in BSC, so we've seen the pros play it a little bit, but here are your best picks in my eyes. So Draco, although he might get pinched out a lot, I think he can just build up his super and his hypercharge just too easily on this map, so I really like him on Crystal Arcade. Kit's insane on Gem Grab, probably the best brawler in Gem Grab right now in my opinion, mainly because Kit was already good in Gem Grab, because in your defined lanes you could easily jump onto someone and your mid brawler will help you confirm that kill easily, and you can easily hypercharge onto the gem carrier with no counterplay pretty much, unless they've got a jump mechanic. So yeah, Kit's insane. Same goes for Lily as well. You can just blindly just pick Lily and you'll know no matter what that you're going to get pressure on the map. You're going to be able to change the game because of her gadgets and her hypercharge. Crow's good into everything right now because he's just so tanky and he's really hard to kill. Tara as well, such a good Gem Grab at brawler right now. Again, like I'm seeing Sandy return to the meta because of how strong Tara is. Same goes with Charlie as well. Janet is insane in Gem Grab. People keep forgetting she's so versatile. You play as a mid, you play as a lane, because her capabilities of defending herself are pretty good because you can just super away if anyone gets on top of you. Amber, again, such an insane lane. Kaze, you got Jae Young in the middle. Your typical tanks aren't actually that good on this map in my opinion. Maybe it's a late pick, but not early on, because you can get pinched down by some heavy damage dealers easily on this map. The next Gem Grab map is Deathcap Trap, and this is a OG map, I would say. It doesn't actually play that well in my opinion, just because you can just push down that left-hand lane, go to that wall, and you're automatically going to get pressure on the map. It's not the worst map in the world, but here are your best picks again. So literally the same as I've recommended in the other ones, except for I think throwers are a little bit good on this map. Well, they can be, like the likes of Willow, the Twins didn't actually put on there, Barley, Juju can be pretty effective on this map, but it's all about pressure, as I said. If you're pushing up, forcing the gem carrier back, you're easily going to get control of the map, and you're going to be able to win. So your best mids on this map are probably going to be like Gus. I didn't put Gene on here. Gene's pretty good. You've got Jay Young, ones that can defend themselves. That's why you're seeing a lot of Meg in the meta, because she can defend herself against aggressive ideas. So with this map in particular, I will say, like, brawlers that are good at wall peeking or just have some type of super or gadget that can shoot beyond walls are going to be your best friend on this map. So that's why I really like Amber, because she's got a super that she can throw over walls, and she's got the Dancing Flames gadget, which can just help you destroy people behind walls easily. And that's why tanks are just really good on this map as well, because you can push forward. No matter what, you're going to force the opponent to pinch you literally at every given wall. So you're getting value in that sense. So it's all about pressuring the opponent on this map. So next up, we have Double Swoosh here. Best picks on your screen right here. So with Double Swoosh, I think I forgot to put on the graphic Gene. How did I forget to put Gene? But just pretend he's on there. You guys know that Gene's good on this map. So Double Swoosh, it is all about, again, being sneaky on this map, making sure that you've got the vision gear equipped on pretty much every single brawler you've seen. Again, the return of Sandy and Gem Grab has been insane because of Tara. But Sandy's always been good on Double Swoosh because of the super. You can just easily get vision of the map with the Rude Sand star power. Crow, just so good at scouting and just a really hard kill right now. Charlie, same goes with Tara as well. Amber is particularly good on this map because you can play Amber down the right hand lane. You can break open the map with your super, and Tara is one of the best counters to Amber's one of the best counters to Tara and Charlie. So you see her played a lot. Buster's really good because defensively you can just go down that left hand lane. You can camp with your gem carrier, get a free super, push up the map, gadget your brawler, and kill them every time. This piece is really good because the porters help scan the grass, and in particular you can put your super really far back and annoy the opponents. Bow can be good just for the mines, infinite mines everywhere. Gray's good if paired with tanks. Finks is really good as a standalone brawler down the left hand side. He can easily pressure the mid, and he's just got good survivability with his gadget. Otis as well with the vision gear. Late picks, you've got to be careful of those assassins and tanks, because one chance they'll get with a hypercharge or something, they'll turn the game around completely on gem grab. So next up for gem grab, we have Gem Foot here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So just like in Double Swoosh, there's a lot of grass, and you've always got to keep tabs on where the opponents are. So especially on this map, you're always going to get flanked on. So if you've not seen one of the opponents in a long time, just know that they're probably in behind your lines. So just bear that in mind. So brawlers with good vision are going to be definitely influential in your drafting picks. Well, you want to pick them. So those brawlers in particular are going to be like Tara. Tara's really good at sneaking around in the grass and really good at those turnaround plays. And one thing I've not actually mentioned too much in Gem Grab for some reason is the brawlers that with really broken hypercharges are just going to be even better in Gem Grab, because you can just keep losing your matchup time and time again. But if you've got a broken hypercharge, you can just easily team wipe. You can easily kill the gem carry, you know, with like Mortis, with Shade, with Lily, and you can turn the tides of the games really easily. So yeah, Gem Grab's probably one of the cheesiest game modes out right now, and probably one of the harder game modes to draft for that reason. But also there's like a lot of good options in Gem Grab. You're not super limited, especially with a nice pushing map like this. So with your mid brawler, again, got to be someone that is okay into those aggressive ideas, that have got some form of like knockback or escape mechanic. So that's why Crow can be a really good mid here. That's why Charlie can even be a good mid here. Gus, Janet, Jay Young, these brawlers aren't going to be the worst against those aggressive ideas. And again, like say, if a Lily supers onto you, well, at least with Gus you can knock her back. With Janet you can fly away. With Crow you can jump away. Charlie you can just cocoon Lily, etc. So that's the common theme here. And as always, make sure that you got one aggressive brawler, because especially if you can get like a Buster or a Doug or a Jackie or RT with super into that little square pocket, it's going to be so hard to pinch them out. And as I always say, pressure will get you gems and win you the game. So for Gem Grab, we have Hard Rock Mine here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So as I've been saying about Gem Grab, just go with those assassin type brawlers with broken hypercharges. down the lane and should be good to go. Even tank counters are just not good enough here, in my opinion, just because, well, like, still go one, but I'd rather actually just go like a couple of assassins, because eventually they're going to overwhelm the opponent and they're going to kill the gem carrier and they're going to win you the game. So again, mid brawlers, they're your typical mid brawlers that are good against those assassins and tanks. So just bear that in mind. Same completely again here, and your good options down the lane are going to be the same assassin brawlers or turnaround brawlers like Tara, like Kaze can get a lot of pressure, Hank can get a lot of pressure here, Cordelius a lot of walls, so his super's going to be really easy to farm. You've got the likes of like Mo, again, can turn around with the hypercharge. Bull can turn around with his super. That's all it is at the minute at gem grab. It's just assassins and tanks. And lastly for gem grab, we have Undermine here, your best picks right here. So for Undermine, it's a little bit different to the other gem grab maps, just because you do need a little bit of range, weirdly enough, because although there's a lot of grass, you literally lose your lane once. It's pretty much impossible to gain your lane back. So just like a strategy here, either like double stack one lane. What I mean here is like with your mid brawler, go down, help your lane brawler out straight away first, gain your lane, and then you'll be good to go, because then that lane can help you push the mid back. So yeah, that's just a good tip. And then also, if you lose your lane and you've got no range, just go down your teammate's lane if they've won it. Just do that. Just you basically lose. You're gonna consistently lose your battle if you just constantly going into, like, I don't know, say if you lose lane versus a Tara and they've basically built a super up. Well, what's the point of just running into a Tara that's just hiding in a bush with super? You're hardly ever gonna win it unless you've got a really disgusting hard counter like an Amber or something along those lines. So yeah, really put focus on those lane matchups. The draft can always just go either way, and I don't really actually want to look at the draft too much here. It's just all about actually strategy and just focusing on winning that first matchup. It's a super toxic map because it's all about spawn trapping. So now we're going to be moving on to Heist, starting off with Bridge Too Far here, your best picks on your screen right here. So the Chuck Hypercharge hasn't really changed anything because you never get it, but he's just still such an annoying brawler in draft, especially in ranked. In pro play, you can devise a strategy and base race, etc. But actually, if anything, I think the Heist rework has actually benefited Chuck in a weird way, because he gets more sustained damage rather than, say, the biggest counters to Chuck are like Cole or big damage dealers. They could quickly put out, either say if you just lost control to Chuck for ages and he's eventually whittled down your save to 25%, well, Colt and, you know, Brock can just get that save down normally in like 10 seconds, 75%. But you can't really do that now with the Heist bubble. So yeah, just want to explain the Heist meta and why it's changed a little bit. So that's why brawlers like Bonnie are really thriving with the hypercharge, but just in general, like one Bonnie jump onto the safe can pretty much dwindle down one shield. So if you think about it, like 2-3 supers can pretty much win you the game in that sense. Ali's really good because she can walk over water. She's really good in 1 versus 1s and can be good for pressure. Angelo, just a super clean brawler. So what the typical trend here in Heist is, you want 1 defensive brawler and 2 aggressive brawlers. That is what it's been with the new Heist meta. So your defensive brawlers are going to be your brawlers like maybe Angelo, Charlie, even a Crow, Amber, Belle, Lola, can be a bit of both, you know what I mean. And then your aggressive brawlers are going to be like your Chucks, your Bonnies, your Carls, your Kazes, Lily, you know, even like Bo can be considered aggressive because you're going to get a lot of damage with his mine. So 2 damage dealers, 1 defensive brawler is how it goes in Heist, and it's not really a lot of late picks to worry about here. Next up for Hot Potato here, best picks right here. So with Hot Potato, super base race heavy map, in a sense, like sometimes people don't even run 1 defensive brawler, they just go constantly on the aggressive. So just bear that in mind. So you always want 2 aggressive brawlers, whether that's a Berry's aggressive here because you can use your super to dash up the map, and then you just use your gadget once and it can deal, I forgot how much it deals, like 20% to the save, probably even more with 1 shot, which is just absolutely insane. So yeah, Berry's insane because it's just really hard to stop him from making those plays because it's a very good thrower map. Well, it used to be, but Berry's one of the only good throwers here. Lumi's really good because you can defend pretty easily on this map. Lily's good because what you can do easily, it's really hard to track a Lily, right? There's so much grass and you can use that to the advantage with the Vanish gadget. She does a lot of damage on the save. She's going to get 3 supers really easily on this map. Charlie is the ultimate defender, same with Cordelia. So again, your defensive brawlers are probably going to be something like Charlie, Lumi, Cordelius, Crow, but Crow can still be like a damage dealer. I'm trying to think of the other, you know, you got like Amber, Rico maybe, and then there's so many aggressive brawlers. You've got Draco, that can be a great aggressive brawler on this map because he can use the other star power and he can mark the enemy safe and deal a lot of damage that way. Kaze constantly going to get pressure with her ninja super. You've got Bonnie that can keep jumping in. Shade as well with his supers. You've got Bull. You've got so many aggressive ideas here. It's hilarious. Next up for Heist, we have Kaboom Canyon here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So with Kaboom Canyon, Chuck is always going to be your best option. Bonnie's always going to be insane here because one jump can literally get you free pressure. A lot of times what I like doing as well is just even jumping on, like, especially if you're like weak and you want pressure, you can just jump into their top left corner and you're going to force the opponents to pinch you out. Well, if there's two people pinching you out, so 2 versus 1, that means you've got a free teammate somewhere that's able to get free damage onto the safe normally. So that's going to be really good, and that's why I really like Carl as well, because you can just flying hook into different weird positions, and if you're constantly forcing out a pinch, well, that's normally going to equate to a lot more pressure and a lot more damage than you probably realize. Angelo, again, an insane brawler to just clean up with. So the aggressive ideas is a bit more limited here, because I think without a wall break, it's actually like you're pretty restricted in your movement. So those aggressive ideas can be shut down a lot by control. So I would actually say maybe like one aggressive idea here, maybe one range brawler, one defensive brawler is probably like the perfect sweet spot. But so you can never really go wrong with 2 aggressive ideas, whether it's Miko jumping over, you know, Daryl with the rolls, etc. And your defensive brawlers are probably just brawlers with range, to be honest, because there's just so much room for snipers and just those brawlers like Amber and Lola to like pinch out. They're just going to be such a good asset in the draft. And lastly for Heist, we have Safe Zone. So it's a very similar map to Kaboom Canyon in terms of the picks. I think the aggressive ideas are a little bit better here. Again, you're kind of restricted in your movement because you've only got 2 passageways because of that unbreakable wall down the right hand side. I still don't like that to this day, but that's why you've got like brawlers like Angelo, Eve, and like Ali that can be really good on this map because they can just go over those restriction points. You've got Charlie, again, the defensive brawler. I think still like the aggression probably a bit more favorable on this map in comparison to Kaboom Canyon, because you can go a brawler like Miko, you can just jump over the water and just get aggression on the map. Again, there's that big bit in the left bottom corner or right top corner, which is just going to always force the opponents to pinch you out, and it's just going to cause you so much pressure and so much damage. Bow's going to be really good here because you can easily hold off the mid with Bow, and then, you know, you get like a couple of kills. You can throw your mines easily on the safe. Amber, again, can just lock down lanes easily on this map. Lily can constantly get pressure with a gadget. It's the same with Heist. A couple of brawlers have fell down the rankings like Colette and Melody, but it's just brought to light better assassins in a meta like Bonnie, Kaze, etc. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to Hot Zone, starting off with Dueling, Beetles here, your best picks on your screen. So no surprises that Draco's hype charge is still insane right now, and he's always going to be good in Hot Zone. Kit is Kit. Lumi is just really good in control-based game modes because of that gadget and just her main attack. Hank, once you get to that unbreakable wall, it's just really hard to pinch him out. Kaze as well, just unlimited pressure. It's the same brawlers here. In terms of late picks are really dangerous in Dueling Beetles, so do bear that in mind, where throwers like Barley can be really good, just really pesky, because say if you've got a couple of like snipers or control brawlers, well, Barley's just going to have a field day because there's no way for them to gain pressure onto a Barley. Same goes against a Squeak, Penny, Doug, Lily, etc. In terms of surprising picks, Bonnie's a really good surprising pick here. Cordelius is a very, very good one because, of course, if an enemy wants to get on the zone, you can just super them and it removes them from the objective. So he's really good in this meta. And the same applies with this map. Do not go multiple. Well, you can go multiple snipers, but at least one of the snipers is going to have like a wall break mechanic. So like at least Gray has wall break mechanic with his gadgets, right? You don't want to go multiple because the opponents can just, I don't know, just go a tank or Lily or something, or Cordelius, and they could just push up to the unbreakable wall, and they're just going to get, yeah, they're not going to be able to pinch out that aggressive brawler. So do bear that in mind. Yeah, Dueling Beetles is always the same. Next up for Hot Zone, we have Open Business, and again, this is pretty similar to Dueling Beetles, except the fact that throwers are a bit better. You can play them a little bit early on in the draft, and also it's very, very prevalent to see like Gray compositions here, because you can just easily set up your teleports, and from spawn you can easily get onto the zone. That's why Hank is so good here. Lou is the ultimate shutdown brawler, of course he is in Hot Zone, and I'm just trying to think of like different options, but I think the meta is like you can go a lot of things, but it's also very limited in a sense. Like, you know, Charlie's just such a good defensive brawler. You're always going to see like Cordelius on this map. You're always going to see Kaze. You're always going to see Gus. You're always going to be seeing Shade with his supers. Like, you're always going to see the same types of brawlers. Bow, you're going to see unlimited bow lines everywhere. As late picks, you've got a few options like Mortis, because you might face off against like one mid that isn't good against tanks. I don't know, like, I'm trying to think top of my head, like Bo, like it's not really the greatest against Mortis. I mean, maybe a thrower. And Mortis is going to have a field day, right? Same with Kenji, etc. So yeah, late picks are really dangerous on this map, but there's just a whole lot of nonsense going on here. Next up for Hot Zone, we have parallel plays here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So parallel plays, as I always say, you want one good defensive brawler down the left-hand lane, one good aggressive brawler, and then just one brawler that's good at pinching or just got a good super that can just help either lane. So kit is kit, shade is shade, defensive, aggressive, Hank as well. Just of course, it's like he's so good on parallel plays. RT, really good defensive brawler, and now with a hypercharge can just make those game-changing plays. Kaze is just so good down the right lane. The amount of like pressure she can get with her main attack is just crazy. The dash ability is so good because of how quick her reload is. And yeah, throws are going to be pretty pesky on this map, as they always are, whether you want them as a mid or a defensive brawler, because you know, as a thrower, normally you need two people to pinch out the throw, unless it's like some super really annoying aggressive brawler. You know, Draco can be good here, but a little bit later on in the draft. Gray is really good here because you've got the walking cane that can help against those throwers, but then you can also just, of course, set up your teleport and get those tanks in, and then you can just set up one teleport into the aggressive lane, and then you can just, you know, defend with your left lane brawler, and you're just good to go, because you know that tank's always going to get onto the zone. Again, it's always good to have that like one good tank counter down the left, because you're pretty much guaranteed, like if you're left, you're going to be facing off against like a Mortis, a Kenji, a Doug, or something that's going to be aggressive. So you need some big damage to take them down pretty quickly, or else they're going to get on your zone really easily. And lastly, for Hot Zone, we have a Ring of Fire here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So again, people make the same mistake as they go multiple sharpshooters on this map for whatever reason. You can get sucked into it. Like, it looks like a nice open map, but those snipers are going to struggle to get onto the zone. I can't tell you how many times this season people have made the same mistake. They've gone like Gus and Bell together, they've gone B and Gus together. It's just, it never works. You're never going to win, because as long as you've got, like, you need at least one brawler that has a decent amount of HP. Like, I'm talking like amber levels and above in HP, because you can get onto that zone really easily, and it doesn't matter how many times you die, you'll get in the percentages. You know, if B's just having to constantly shoot you and not heal up, they're never going to get onto the zone because they're too weak to get onto the zone. So the objective is to get on. Just get on the objective and pick a brawler that can get, you know, can get on there instead of those snipers. Sorry, I'm in a rant because so many times Ring of Fire has happened. So yeah, Charlie's really good for this reason. Good range, good HP, good gadget to push the opponents back. Kaze, again, good for pressure. What you want to be doing most of the time is sending two brawlers in the mid and then one trying to flank around. Well, like, you want one brawler that's making sure the opponent's not pushing in / mid. It's one complete mid, and then you want one brawler like a Kaze, or I don't know, like a Cordelius or a Lily, that's just going to push into their grass and constantly like annoy them and get them from behind. So a lot of options here. Make sure that you're not picking two snipers, as I said. And for the final game mode, we're going to be going into Knockout, starting off with Bell's Rock. So with Knockout, it's the same type of meta with Bounty, where your Jean and your Gray and your Kit are just going to be too good against everything, so they're always going to be your best first picks. You've got Jae Young, so good at survivability. You've got Gus, again, so good at surviving. RT as well, so good at countering Kit and just survivability. Angelo is why he's so annoying in Knockout, because he can just jump away. His Pierce gadget as well, if you want to use that, can just create so much pressure. Tick is finally back in the Knockout meta, but in particular this map has always been good for throws anyways, even when they've not been the greatest. So your Sprouts and your Ticks are always going to be good in the middle. If you want to counter those brawlers, you've got Brock to open up the map. You've got Kaze with the dashes to go in. Ollie is a surprising, really good pick and Knockout, mainly because with Ollie, you're guaranteed to get pressure. And a map like Bell's Rock, you can push up the mid walls and just sit there, because the gas is going to close in. They've got to push into you, and you can't really pinch out on Ollie too well on Bell's Rock. And then your super's just so good when the gas closes in. Bonnie as well can confirm kills really easily, and with the amount of HP she has, she can push up the map easily. Squeak can be pretty good here, because all the aggressive ideas are like, they're good, but they're not like completely game changing. While Squeak, you can always get a good amount of damage on a map like Bell's Rock. Rico can be really good for pinching, and a good Rico will dominate on this map. And again, you can go one sniper, just don't go multiple snipers, because you will get pushed back pretty easily. Like, good players can just go like an Ollie and then something else that's got a decent amount of HP, and you'll just get forced back into spawn so easily. Late picks here, do be careful of the Daryls, the Mikos, and that's really about it. So now moving on to Flare and Phoenix, so your best picks right here. So the same best picks from before, basically. You know, I put Jae Young in here because it's Jae Young. You've got Angelo because he can be really annoying with his Pierce gadget and just good in the later stages. Buster is so annoying on this map because you can just sit back into spawn and then he can get a hype charge every round, push forward, gadget you. Yeah, you know the trick with it. It's just so annoying. Brock can be good because he can just break open the grass and just make it really hard for you to get like sneaky kills, and it's actually really underrated having a wall break because you know where they are at all times. You've always got to be careful of this map because there might be a particular brawler, I don't know, like a Piper that might just gadget you twice, well, shoot you once and gadget you and kill you. You might be facing off against a Gene Pool, a Grey Hook, you know, body jumping. There's a lot of like quick burst damage supers that you got to be careful of. Mandy super, whilst, you know, a bit of wall break can help you know where they are at all times. Again, making sure that using vision gear here is essential so you can push the enemies back really easily, know where they are once you get one tap in. And again, it's really good for tanks. Like late game tanks are really good on this map because you can just sit back, hide in the grass, and then, you know, if there's a Hank in the final circle, of course he's going to win a lot of interactions. If there's a Buster, if there's a Bonnie with the amount of HP she has, if there's a Meg that makes it towards the end, a Pearl, a Darrow, a Lily, they're going to win that late game interaction. Next up, we have Neuro Horizons here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So this is always the cheesiest map in the knockout rotation because you got this rock, paper, scissors cycle where if you don't have a wall break, well, you're going to have a thrower or a Buster or just any tank just sitting there behind the wall, and they're just gonna just farm super, or they're just gonna wait till late game and they're gonna kill you pretty easily. But then if you have a wall break, you are also just gonna get destroyed by your other snipers. So if you go a Brock, well, they're probably gonna go a Piper or a Nanny or a Mandy that's gonna counter you too easily. So there's always like a lot of things to consider here. So that's why I just like going Brock yourself, because you could also just switch gadget if you didn't want to open the map. So just go through the fort. Bonnie also really good here because you can just pressure back the opponents. You're kind of forcing them to group up. That's the only way to counter a Bonnie hypercharge, is by picking a brawler like Doug, Buster, or Hank. You're seeing a lot of Doug in this meta because there's a lot of grouping up. So in pros love the Doug, and fully enough, your rank randoms won't know how to use Doug. It's a weird meta on this map in particular. Cordelia's are really good because you can just sit behind a wall, farm your super, and then once the gas closes in, you can jump over the wall, kill people in 1v1 easily. Ollie, again, insane at just pressure on this map. Really like Ollie on this map in particular. You've got your Gusses, you've got your Squeaks. So again, make sure you got like one sniper, you've got like one either thrower or tank, and then you can kind of go whatever you want as the last one. But again, just be careful you're not going the same type of archetype, and you're kind of covering all bases here. Just make sure that you've at least got one wall break if the opponent has the last pick. So moving into the final map, we have Out in the Open here. Your best picks on your screen right here. So Gene's really good because of the vision. Brock is really good because he breaks open that back wall and he makes it so instead of 2 choke points you can escape back into spawn from, you've got 3, so you're not going to get spawn trapped as easily. Bonnie's insane and knockout for confirming kills on that hypercharge. Jayon, Gus, really good. Angelo's good because he can go over the water, so it's like another way of not getting spawn trapped. Same goes with Eva 12, really good draft brawlers. Mandy's really good because you can just sit in the spawn like really far back, snipe people. You can sit in the grass, they never know when the super's coming, get a free kill. You've got Carzo that can just get you unlimited pressure, and your invisibility gadget's just going to enable you to cycle super really easily. And out in the open, you think that snipers again are going to be good. They are good on this map, but the common problem here is if you've got like a Buster or I don't know, Grey or Max or something that's going to be aggressive, you can easily force those snipers back to the spawn. And again, literally, if you get to their grass section, you're pretty much going to guarantee your win in the game because the gas is going to close in. There's nothing they're going to be able to do with only 2 choke points. Yeah, it's just a common problem, a common mistake that people make here. So I've been waffling too much, so I can't even speak English right now, but that's it for today's video. Sorry it took so long, but just so much data to go through, so many maps. I've literally lost my voice. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys next time.